Hey Laura, welcome to the MasterCard Cup. Just want to give you an opportunity here to view your swing at regular speed. We'll let that play on through. We'll put you back in your dress position and we'll go ahead and take a look at a few things for you. So while we got you back here in your dress position, let's first of all take a look at your posture. Your spine's nice and straight and on a slight tilt, looks great. Legs come down into an unlocked position. You do hold your arms out in front of you too much, and then the golf club works down to the ball. So what we'd ideally like to do here is we'd like to try and get your arms to hang down so that your hands are a little closer to your thighs, and then let the golf club work out to the ball from there. So we're going to increase the angle relationship between your arms and your golf club right there in your wrists. Okay, and this is very important to establish that because it's going to help your overall wrist hinge and the aesthetic look of your entire golf swing. From here, you can keep your spine and your legs in the exact same position that they're in. So ultimately, all this is really going to do is just going to transition you from sort of this red starting position where you're pronating your hands and arms out in front of you and holding them there, as opposed to the yellow position when the arms are hanging and then the golf club's working out to the ball. Okay. One thing I do want to do here is I want to just mark what angle this is at, 42 degrees. Okay. So let's, your alignment looks good, so let's go ahead and do a little split screen comparison here between you and Chela Choi. We'll bring her up on the left side of the screen. Now we've got some color-coded lines up on the screen just to use as a visual reference. So we can see this, the setup's very similar, except for the fact that your arms aren't hanging and you don't have enough angle relationship between the arms and the club, as we already stated. So what I want to do is I want to put up a different address plane line for you. And that would be here, I think, what did we say? Was it 42 degrees? Yeah, 42. So that's a very different shaft angle at address. So the red line on the screen is simply a line that is right over the club shaft at address. So you should be, what we'll mark is line 2 versus line 1. So when we look at the golf swing, we're not going to really relate your golf swing to line 1. We're going to relate it to line 2 because that's theoretically where your golf club should be. At the end of the day, that's also going to change the blue and the yellow line. I'm not going to really concern myself too much with the blue line. So let's change the yellow line so that it is also parallel to red line 2. Okay? So the original line 1s really are going to be irrelevant in your golf swing when we take a look at it. Okay, so let's just understand what happens in a golf swing. Well, 4 main things happen in a backswing. 1, we want to turn our shoulders. So we can see very clearly here, Chela Choi from address to the top of her backswing, she rotates. The other thing we want to do is we want to extend our arms back to us, but also around our body. While we do that, we have to create wrist hinge. Wrist hinge is very crucial, and we can see here that her club head is out in front and below her hands, and as we make a backswing, the club head gets above and behind the hands. So this move right here is very critical in a golf swing. And achieving this wrist hinge is going to be a lot easier to do when you hang your arms down so your hands are closer to your thighs. Okay? Now, with this turn, the arm extension, and the wrist hinge, we basically just want to do this about a very stable right leg. So you can see that our right leg's not really breaking down. So those are the 4 things that happen in a backswing. We turn, we extend our arms back and around us, we create this wrist hinge, and we stay stable on our right side. What we can see is this golf club, the shaft of it is staying on that red line that whole time until there, and then it works up to the yellow line. Okay? So let's watch you initiate your takeaway and let's see sort of what you do here. So you draw your hands back really nicely, but your forearms and your wrists are very stiff with the golf club. And they are because that's where you started. So if you had hung your arms down so your hands were closer to your thighs, the club was working out, you would have established already a bit of a sort of a wrist hinge kind of look at address. So as we continue to come back here, what we see now is we see your left hand rolls underneath the club. So the Velcro strap of your glove is facing the ground. You've created no forearm rotation. So now that you've created no forearm rotation, any hinge you do create is going to be incorrect hinge. So what's happening is you're basically rolling your left hand underneath and creating whatever hinge you can with that wrist position. If we roll the forearms better, so let's try and pay attention. It's a little difficult to see because we're dealing with a small part of our body here, but her forearms roll open a little, and the Velcro strap of her glove is facing directly out in front of her, not the ground. As she creates this hinge, look at where her Velcro strap is facing. Her Velcro strap is facing out in this direction. Yours is facing back towards us and sort of started to face the ground early on. Okay? So it's just incorrect forearm rotation and wrist hinge. Part and parcel of that, it's established due to the fact that we didn't start with our arms hanging and setting the wrists correctly to begin with. Okay? So as we carry this right to the top, you know, you get good shoulder rotation, pretty stable right side. The arms stay in nice position relative to your core. The club stays in good position relative to your arms. Unfortunately, because the wrist worked incorrectly, the club face is very closed. We do see that your arms do compress a bit to your body, so we don't really maintain a lot of arm extension either of the 4 criteria that we're trying to achieve. So we can see with Chella at the top of her swing, her inner right tricep is not pasted against her rib cage like we see with you. Okay? So you've got good turn, pretty stable right side, a little too bent maybe, rotating on an axis that, you know, is off of half decent posture. Looks like you might have stood up a little bit from where you started. No, not really. So you're rotating, maintaining that posture. Just the real keys are really understanding how the wrists work during a backswing and getting our arms into a proper position. Okay? Hopefully you can see that those positions are quite different. Now, as we do swing through the ball, really all I want to see right now is I just want to see you move from the right foot to your left and fire your hands through. So we can see with Chella Choi, she's going to move from her right foot to her left foot. She's going to fire her hands through the ball, but the right heel's got to come off the ground and get fully up off the ground and onto the toe of the right foot. That carries all our weight to our left side and allows our hips to square around and our shoulders to fully rotate. So at the top of our backswing, energy is on our right foot. We fire our hands through. We get off our right heel, up onto our right toe, and that allows us to carry our swing through to a finish. So it's just almost like connecting point A to point B. What do we want to do to get to point B? Well, we want to turn, extend our arms, cock our wrists, stay solid on our right foot. Now we want to go to point B. We want to move off our right foot, swing our hands through, get up on our left foot. And that's just general swing motion. So let's see what you do on the way through. So you send your hands very well. Let's see if you and your right heel comes off the ground. So you're moving to point B pretty decent. What I want you to also notice though is I want you to notice, look at where your left arm is. So when you finish, your left arm now is congested to alongside your rib cage. I mean, we see a very different position with Chella. Her hands are much, much higher. So one of the things we can see in your golf swing is that your arms throughout the entirety of the swing stay very close to your body. So inner right tricep stays close to your rib cage on the way back. We swing through. Left arm now stays very close to our rib cage. We can see a much different extension with Chella Choi where her right tricep does not stay affixed to her rib cage. So she has extension. She swings through and her left tricep does not stay close to her rib cage coming through. Okay? So we have a much wider swing arc, much better extension back, much better extension through. Overall, I mean, you have some nice athletic characteristics with respect to your golf swing for sure. I like how your hands work. Your hands come back. They fire through great. Your core works well. You coil. You uncoil. You've got decent enough footwork coming through that you get yourself through to a finish. We don't want you to fall back like that. So just learn how to stay on top of your right toe and keep your weight on your left side. The main things that we would like to see, obviously, is change the starting position so your arms are hanging a little bit more naturally, so that we're increasing the angle relationship between the arms and the golf club. During the backswing, we definitely need to learn how to create proper forearm rotation and wrist hinge. That's critical. also in association with more arm extension. Once we now get our swing to a better position at the top of our backswing, then we can just simply go ahead and fire the golf club through like we are with your good handwork, fine-tune that footwork a little bit through to the finish, and just maintain your balance in a nice finishing position. But overall, you're doing a pretty good job. Just a couple subtle minor tweaks here, and the golf swing can look very, very different for you. Okay? Anyways, at any point in time you ever want to work on your golf game, I'm located over at Glen Abbey in Oakville. Be happy to structure a little program for you. Also, if you're involved with any golf tournaments at all and you guys are looking for a unique gift to provide your guests, feel free to touch base. Be happy to discuss my swing analysis services. Anyways, I hope you had a fabulous day, and I hope you enjoyed getting an opportunity to see your swing on video. Take care.